Hi everyone. In this webcast, we are going to talk about one of the transformational feature introduced on the Windows Server 2012 file serve section, storage spaces. So, in most of the time, acquiring and managing the highly available and reliable storage is one of the significant part of the information and technology departments, and which taken the significant amount of the budget. So to address this one by the Microsoft team in the server team, they have introduced this sophisticated virtualized storage feature, which we address as the storage space. So this is kind of a alternative option for most of the companies that require the advanced storage capabilities for the fraction of the cost. So if we have a look at the virtualization conceptual layer, think about like a bunch of disk in the background, which it can be SAS, SATA, SSD, or it can be USB connected, or it can be VHD. You aggregate all of these disks and then pool them and then create a logical layer which we call the storage pool, and then in front of that one we'll be creating the volumes using those physical disks, but regardless of their capabilities or the IOPS or the speed or the rate levels, we'll be taking one layer up, virtualize them, and then introduce as the storage pool logical layer, and that will be exposed to the file systems. So another way, you one of the two key things has been introduced over here will be, one is storage pools. Storage pools, think about as the aggregation of the physical disk units, which can be combination of, as I mentioned earlier, SATA disk, SSD, or USB, or even VHDs. So you can pool them, and this pool can be actually delegated to administration. And one of the key cool feature that I like to see is what I see over here is storage aggregation and plus elasticity capacity expansion. When required, you can bring some physical disk and plug it to the pool. Dynamically it's getting updated, which is much what we expected on the high-end SAN storage can be now carried out on Windows Server 2012 as well. And the other uh, concept is storage spaces. So once we aggregate all this disk, we will, on top of that one, we will be creating the logically the disk which will be exposed to the operating systems. So those we will be calling as storage spaces. So because of this new enhancement, and because we will be able to leverage on various these subsystems, this actually given the opportunity for the administrators to look at the various other ways how we can leverage these enhanced virtualized file systems. One of these things, like you can create a storage space on the SSD disk storage pool, and then host the large SQL databases or the Hyper-V VHD files, or you can aggregate bunch of those disk combination of SSD or like SATA, create the NFS file systems, and then to enhance it, you can use the clustering payload clustering features, and to enhance the VSD storage, we can introduce the cluster shared volumes. So you can see like this new concept of storage spaces can be leveraged the rest of the Windows 2012 file system features as well. Now, without further ado, we will try to jump into the demo and have a look at it, how we can create the storage spaces using the storage pools features. Okay, so now I am in one of the client server machine over here. So if I open the server manager, the new server manager on Windows 2012, because of we are using multi-server management concept on this 2012, I will be able to manage the storage pool, creating storage pools, creating storage spaces centrally. So if I go to the file and storage services, go to the storage pools, you can see at the moment I have one server selected under the storage spaces, and I got bunch of physical disk which has been not visible to the file system layer at the moment. Just to show you about that one, if I go back to the particular server which is having this subsystem, if I go to the disk manager, you can see I got a bunch of disk, but they have been not formatted or being partitioned or anything. So in my file system, I'll be only able to see one volume over here. So if I switch back to that particular class manager, now you can see over here under the available disk storage spaces, I got this is a kind of like interesting thing. It's called primordial disk. So this has been not allocated in anywhere on the operating system. So we'll try to go to the task and create a new storage pool by leveraging those disks. So I'll call it as pool 1, and out of the physical disk I'll select 3 disks over here, and the allocation also you got features over here. One of the key thing I've got to see is like the hot spare one. So just like in the SAN storage, you'll be able to keep us one spare in case of a one disk failure. It will be automatic, can be used for that particular replacement. So you click next, and simply like that you just create a storage pool. Now let's go back to my server and have a look at it on the disk management, how it will be visible. Still it's not coming to the file system as expected, but now you can see like once it's aggregated, those 3 disks are not visible over here at the moment. So we'll switch back, go to the subsystem. So you can see now I have the pool 1 of the storage pool. So in order to create the logical disk which is visible for the file system, we'll go to the virtual disk and we'll create a new virtual disk over here, and we will call this one let's put the name as virtual disk 1 parity. And we will, here you can see like the storage layout option we got for the redundancy and speed or redundancy method, enhance for the speed. So I'll go for the parity option over here, and I'll make it thin provisioning, and I will give like 1 tera. Even though we have free space of 378 GB, I can create it as a 1 tera over here and create the disk. Okay, so same time I'll try to create the volume on that logical disk that I have created. So I'll try to go ahead and select that particular disk file, and then let's go ahead and select file. So I'll assign the default, keep the default things, and I'll call this one as data. File system, you can see I can even create NTFS or leverage the latest Windows 2012 file system, which is the REFS as well. So once this wizard is completed, when I go back to the DC computer, I'll be able to see a volume as drive letter E with 500 GB, which has been leveraged on the pool space that we have been created now. Okay, so the wizard has been completed. I'll close it up, and I'll be able to have a look at it from the server manager from over here as well. You can see I have a 500 GB virtual disk already created. So if I move to the particular computer which is having that storage capacity leveraged on, you can see I got 500 GB disk allocated. Even though I don't have physically 500 GB, using the thin provisioning capability, I will be able to create a 500 GB disk over here. And still for the file system, it's in the disk subsystem itself, you can see I got another 500 GB available. So this is actually one of the cool features that I see on the Windows 2012 file system enhancement storage pool.